Yeah.
Is my sound good? Can you understand what
It's
I'm
perfect.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is just a little bit about me. I just crammed as much stuff as I could onto the slide. B Before I continue, I just want to congratulate the audience on sitting through all of these remote presentations. I know that that's not like an easy thing to do. And hopefully next time, some of the audience members here today will put their hand up to talk about whatever they're doing. I'm not sure whether Christian has applied the correct amount of peer pressure, but I hope that after seeing the talks today, you feel comfortable with getting up and talking about anything, literally anything. Um, just so that well, we're only here as remote presenters in order to bootstrap the meetup so that there's a local a local presence there. Anyway, um, so me, I used to be a web JavaScript person, and I started some a conference for JavaScript in Australia. I started meetups for JavaScript in Singapore. Now I live in the US, and I've given up my JavaScript. In fact, I haven't written a line of JavaScript in probably 18 months after working almost solely in JavaScript for 15 years or longer. And now I'm doing Unreal Engine, and I'm working with Christian at Notion Theory. Uh, and today we're going to be talking about World Partition. This will be just a brief introduction, um, the things that I've encountered with it, and just sort of the basic tools, the basic mental model that you'll need in order to get started, potentially using World Partition. Um, Probably the best thing that you could actually do with the next 20 minutes of your time, if you wanted to learn about World Partition, would be to watch this particular presentation called Building Bigger. It's by Chris Murphy, who is a fellow Australian, but that's not why I'm, promoting his talk. He's a incredible, not Unreal Engine communicator, and he's got a good presentation that goes through pretty much all of the stuff from the motivations to, um, you uh, command line, um, like console commands for turning things on and off in World Partition. It's a really good talk. Highly recommend go watch it. It's nice and short, um, but you've got to sit through me talking about it instead. So, um, just it's basically a replacement for world composition, and the key things that it does is splits your world into multiple partitions. And you can see here on the right, there's a cell size and a loading range. The cell size, you can have multiple grids inside your level. You can have kind of a big grid and a fine grid, and it'll as you approach the different grids, it will the grid cells, it will stream in content as necessary. So it's like it's a level streaming solution, and it completely replaces world composition and is not necessarily, I would regard it as production ready, but it is definitely an interesting tool to start playing around with. Um, and not only that, it's not only useful for building bigger, like in Chris's talk, you can actually use it for smaller levels. And that's what we're doing at Notion Theory with the game. And it has a particular workflow feature, which I absolutely love. And I don't think I could work without it. And I'm going to mention that later. So in order to enable World Partition, the you can just from the content browser, you can right click on the level or the map that you want and hit add partition to streaming support, and that will convert your level to um, world world partition. There's another option which is convert level in the tools menu, and there's a commandlet that you can run if you wanted to automate or bulk run the conversion process. It will, if everything goes correctly, your first experience using World Partition will probably look a bit like this. You'll end up with a nice black screen with nothing in there, and you'll think, okay, it's broken. Where's all my stuff? Hopefully you've got revision control, because yeah, the map seems like unusable. But if you go into your the tools or window menu, you can open up the World Partition tab, and if you right click and say load from here, you right click on just like the center there, it will bring in all of your assets. So all the assets on the right there, they're all grayed out. But if we load from here, they'll all become not grayed out. It loads them in. So World Partition is kind of part of like a system of features in Unreal. It enables level streaming. It enables you to have data layers in both the editor and at runtime, and it also enables one file per actor. One file per actor is an interesting feature, and again, when you enable one file per actor, so that I believe will get switched on automatically for you when you switch your level to be a World Partition. And yeah, it may surprise you because it's literally one file per actor in your level. It does what it says on the box, and making even what seem to be trivial changes can end up producing incredibly large revision control diffs. Like the list of files that change is very long, but the whole point of having one file per actor is that multiple people can work on the level simultaneously without having major conflicts. In particular, the conflict resolution isn't going to be all or nothing. If two people are working on different parts of the level, they can do that without having any conflicts at all. And if there are conflicts, they will be only with the particular actors that are conflicting, rather than the entire level. Yeah, it is quite fragile though, and it has some quirks. You need to make sure that like anytime you are updating stuff with one file per actor, you check all of those files in and commit them. If you miss some, like you miss some deletes or you miss some actors, it can produce very strange results because you've got some actors from a previous revision and some other actors from another revision. You can end up, the only way to actually delete an actor from a level inside one file per actor is to have the file that's backing the actor deleted. And I've had a few cases where I perhaps stash some changes or miss the deletes in the commit, and suddenly all these actors reappear in the level, and it can be quite confusing. But yeah, just as long as whenever you're working with one file per actor levels, you just always check in everything. It can work reasonably well for you. And overall, the World Partition system is a bit hairy. So yeah, I will just reiterate that revision control, absolutely essential. I mean, you should have it anyway, but make sure that you are checking in all of the good work that you've got whenever you're doing this, because yeah, it can be a little bit painful. The engine crashes and there's all sorts of things that can go wrong. So World Partition enables level streaming, so you can have manual or proximity-based loading. So that was what I was talking about with the cells. When you get close to a cell, it will automatically load load all the assets that are relevant to that cell. And you can also ask it to load a cell specifically. And if you're doing C++ stuff, you can't. I was recently working on a teleport system, and the issue I came across an issue where if you teleported across the level, you would teleport in before the level had loaded. And if you're yeah, there's a in the mass plugin, there's a function called is collision loaded, and it does what you want to ensure that the area that you're spawning into has collision there. I'm not sure if it's exposed publicly. I just copied the function and modified it to my needs, but that's a pro tip if you're doing any kind of teleporting with level streaming. It also enables World Partition also enables data layers, so which replaces the old layers system, which that isn't confusing at all. But yeah, they're basically the same thing. There's two different types of layers. There's editor layers and runtime layers. Editor layers, I think of them as just it's like for grouping things. So you might take all of your VFX or things that have lots of transparency and put them into a layer so you can turn it off and navigate around your world more easily. And it's got a nice feature where you've got nesting, so you can have a VFX layer. Say you have a props layer, and inside the props layer, you might have your VFX layer. So if you turn the props layer on, it'll turn on the VFX layer as well. But you can also toggle VFX layer on and off individually. And you also have runtime layers. So this allows you to load content in and out at runtime. So it's pretty much the same thing as the editor system, but you control it programmatically at runtime. And for runtime layers, yeah, like that it's a really good tool for implementing day-night cycles or seasonal content. If it's winter, then you would have all of the winter props in one layer and all of the non-winter props in another layer, and you can just turn them on and off. Or quest-specific layers. So, for example, you've got actors which are only relevant to a particular quest, and after the quest is done, you would just hide or unload the layer, and all of those actors go along with it, and you don't have to like keep a list of actors to remove or work with those awful group actors or anything. Unfortunately, World Partition is quite unstable. It's got a lot of these really neat features, but it does crash a lot. It crashes, and then it'll crash again because it crashed. Like when it starts back up, it'll crash because it crashed. So that's a pretty frustrating experience. So yeah, you definitely need to have revision control if you're going to start playing around with World Partition. Yeah, we had an experience at work the other day where Christian was, I'm pretty sure, ready to just pull World Partition out of our project completely because it was crashy and just buggy and a major problem. However, there is one feature in World Partition which I really love, and it's this one little toggle: is main world only. And what you can do with this is if you've got a level instance, and so a level instance is just like a level that you would have that is inside another level, and you can have as many nested level instances as you like. If you have an actor in a level instance and that actor is set to be is main world only, it will only load if the editor is opening, or the editor or the game is opening that level specifically. It means it will disappear when it is loaded inside another level. And the use case here comes directly from you can read it here in this commit. It says having a lighting setup in the level instance level is when the light's checked as is main world only, those lights won't be loaded when the level is used as a level instance in another World Partition world. And because if you've ever worked with level instances, you've probably hit this issue where it'll complain that there's multiple directional lights, or you've got multiple instances of your exponential height fog, or all that kind of stuff. Because you can set this is main world only on any actor, you can use it on a level instance itself. And this is what we've been using to set up like a default environment that contains all the directional light, all of the like the skybox, etc. And we put that inside all of our sub levels so that when we're editing the sub level, you've got light. You don't have to look at it in unlit mode, which is a horrible way to work. Doing it like this means that the levels will look exactly the same whether they're loaded from internally or externally. You would have a default environment set up on the parent level as well, obviously. So you always will only ever have a single directional light. Previously, to work around this, you would need like editor tools or something to turn the lights on and off. And this just removes all of that complexity. You can just check this on, and it makes it really easy to work with level instances. And we use it a lot for like the sample level workflow. So we have like a sample level that contains multiple sub levels that show all these different things, how the game works. And each one of these is a sub level that the person who implemented the feature went in and they set up and they edit and they maintain it. But you can see all of the features that we have in the game currently, the ones that are supposed to continue to work, all live in this overview level, which contains multiple instances. And inside each of these, if I open up this map, so this is just this map, you'll see it. If I didn't have the default environment, it would just be black, and I'd have to go over to unlit, and this is not a very nice experience. It's bad working like that. So now I have the default environment, and down the bottom here is main world only is checked. So when it's loaded in the context of the parent level, this overview, there's no internal default environment. But yeah, I'll reiterate that revision control is essential, and that's really it. Thanks. Any questions?
Questions?
No.
Well, it seems so. You answered every question that anyone might have had.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, cool. All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, no worries.
Okay, I'll see you.